It started like any other AEW Dynamite night until the lights went out. Then, silence. The crowd began to buzz, cell phones lighting up the arena like fireflies in the dark. Commentators scrambled for words as a mysterious silhouette appeared on the ramp. The Titantron flickered, and one name flashed across it: Arissa LeBrock. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. Steven Seagal's daughter in an AEW ring? For years, Arissa LeBrock was known not for wrestling, but for her lineage. The daughter of action movie icon Steven Seagal and supermodel Kelly LeBrock, she carried Hollywood blood and martial arts mastery in her veins. But no one expected her to step into a professional wrestling ring. The AEW audience erupted into chaos. Some fans cheered wildly, others shouted in confusion, trying to process what they were witnessing. Social media exploded within minutes. Hashtags like DRKCU, LeBrock in AEW, and Seagal Bloodline trended worldwide. The cameras zoomed in as Arissa walked down the ramp, focused, calm, and radiating danger. Every movement echoed her father's stoic, lethal aura. She didn't need flashy gear or theatrics. Her presence alone was enough to electrify the air. Commentators gasped as she entered the ring. "Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're witnessing something special here," one shouted. Arissa took the mic, her voice low and composed. "My father taught me one thing," she said. "Power is nothing without control. And tonight, AEW is about to learn control from a LeBrock." The crowd roared. The camera panned across the audience. Jaws dropped, fans screaming, signs waving. You could feel the electricity pulsing through the arena. Then, suddenly, music hit again. From behind the curtain, Britt Baker appeared, smirking from ear to ear. "What's this? You think you can just walk into my division?" she sneered, stepping face to face with Arissa. The tension was thick. For a few seconds, the arena held its breath. Arissa's eyes didn't blink. Her jaw tightened. And then, she smiled. Fans knew something was about to go down. The ring trembled with energy. The crowd's chants grew louder. "This is awesome!" Before Baker could speak again, Arissa dropped the mic, turned slightly, and delivered a lightning-fast spinning back kick, the same kind of technique her father made famous. Britt Baker went down hard, rolling out of the ring in shock. The arena exploded. Commentators yelled over each other. "Did you see that?" It wasn't just a debut. It was a statement. And as Arissa LeBrock stood tall in the center of the ring, AEW fans realized this was just the beginning. Because the question now was, who trained her? And what does she really want in AEW? As the AEW audience tried to make sense of what just happened, one question echoed across every wrestling forum, tweet, and YouTube comment section. Where did she come from? The name Arissa LeBrock might have shocked wrestling fans, but fight historians knew better. This wasn't a random celebrity debut. This was a storm years in the making. Born into a house where discipline was a religion, Arissa's childhood was nothing short of cinematic. Her father, Steven Seagal, the Aikido master who shattered Hollywood stereotypes in the 80s and 90s, raised her on the philosophy of calm power. Meanwhile, her mother, Kelly LeBrock, a supermodel who graced international covers, taught her confidence, poise, and presence. Together, those worlds created something rare. Beauty with danger, grace with lethal focus. But fans couldn't believe what they were seeing on AEW Dynamite. "How could Seagal's daughter pull off those moves so cleanly?" asked one commentator. "That wasn't just acting, that was years of combat training." And they were right. Behind the glamour, Arissa had trained under her father's direct supervision since her teens. Not just in Aikido, but in judo, kickboxing, and even grappling. For years, she kept that side of her life private, competing in amateur tournaments under different names. The AEW locker room started buzzing. Rumors spread that she had been spotted training with Josh Barnett, the MMA legend known for his brutal catch wrestling style. Some said she'd even spent time at the New Japan dojo, studying how to blend martial arts with pro wrestling psychology. Fans on social media went wild connecting the dots. "She's like the real-life version of a movie fighter entering AEW," one fan tweeted. "This isn't a gimmick. This is bloodline power." Backstage, AEW officials reportedly couldn't contain their excitement. Tony Khan himself was said to have orchestrated her debut in complete secrecy. Only a handful of people even knew she was in the building. But not everyone was thrilled. Several female wrestlers were furious. They believed Arisa hadn't earned her spot, calling her Hollywood privilege wrapped in black belt arrogance. Yet, Arisa didn't respond. No tweets, no interviews, just silence. Her quiet demeanor only fueled speculation. Was she being positioned as AEW's next breakout star, or a dangerous wild card meant to shake the entire women's division? Then, just days later, AEW released a cryptic teaser. It showed Arisa in a dimly lit dojo, performing precise, controlled strikes, followed by the words, "Honor, Legacy, Retribution." The internet exploded once again. Fans couldn't get enough. Theories spread like wildfire. Was she targeting someone specific? Was there a family rivalry angle coming? But as the next AEW show approached, everyone knew one thing. She wasn't done. Because Arisa LeBrock wasn't there to make an appearance. She was there to make a statement that would change AEW forever. And the world was about to see her second act. One that no one would forget. The arena was trembling with anticipation. AEW had officially announced it. Arisa LeBrock's first ever match. The opponent, none other than Britt Baker, the self-proclaimed face of the division. The same woman who had been humiliated on Arisa's debut night. From the moment the match was announced, the internet went into meltdown. "This is Hollywood versus homegrown," one fan posted. "If Arisa can hang with Britt, she's legit." When the night arrived, you could feel the tension before the bell even rang. Arisa entered first, dressed in sleek black and gold, a modern warrior look inspired by her father's old Aikido robes. The crowd erupted into chaos, chanting, "Lee Brock! Lee Brock!" while camera flashes painted the arena white. Britt Baker's entrance followed. Cocky smile, championship swagger, and eyes filled with pure resentment. Fans booed, others cheered, but everyone knew. This was more than a match. It was a test. The bell rang. Ding, ding, ding. Right out of the gate, Britt went on the offensive, trying to overwhelm Arisa with strikes and taunts. But Arisa stayed calm, eerily calm. Every motion was deliberate. Every counter looked effortless. Commentators were stunned. "Look at that composure. That's martial arts discipline right there," one shouted. Then Arisa unleashed a flurry. A roundhouse kick that grazed Britt's head, followed by a judo-style hip toss that brought the crowd to its feet. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. This wasn't some celebrity stunt. It was raw, real skill. The crowd began chanting, "This is awesome." But Britt Baker wasn't backing down. Using her veteran instincts, she reversed a grapple, sending Arisa crashing into the turnbuckle. She smirked at the camera, shouting, "Welcome to the big leagues, sweetheart." The crowd booed, but Arisa just smiled through the pain. Slowly, she stood up, eyes locked on Britt. Her expression changed from calm to deadly focus. The camera zoomed in. You could practically feel the temperature in the arena drop. Then it happened. A perfect spinning heel kick right to Britt's jaw. The sound echoed through the building like a gunshot. Britt dropped instantly. The referee dove in for the count. 1, 2, and then, unbelievably, Britt kicked out. The crowd gasped in disbelief. Britt, blood trickling from her lips, staggered to her feet. "You don't belong here," she screamed. Arisa tilted her head, whispering, "Neither did my father, until he conquered Hollywood." Then, bam! An arm trap chokehold straight from the Seagal playbook. Britt's hand hovered in the air, and finally, she tapped. The bell rang. The arena exploded in cheers. Commentators screamed, "Arissa LeBrock has done it. The Hollywood Warrior has arrived." But as the referee raised her hand, the camera caught something. A shadow standing in the crowd, watching intently. A man in a dark coat, arms crossed, smirking. The commentators fell silent. "Wait, is that?" The screen faded to black. The mystery had just deepened. When AEW Dynamite returned from commercial break that night, fans were already in a frenzy. Everyone wanted to know, who was the man in the dark coat watching Arissa LeBrock's debut match? Social media exploded with theories. Some said it was Steven Seagal himself. Others swore it was an AEW executive scouting her next storyline. But insiders knew this wasn't a cameo. It was the beginning of something much bigger. Within 24 hours, backstage rumors spread like wildfire. A leaked photo from a security camera showed the mysterious man entering a private locker room, the same one Arissa had just exited. The internet went wild. "There's no way that's who we think it is," wrote one fan. The following week on AEW Dynamite, the truth was revealed. The lights dimmed once again. The arena bathed in blue. Then, from the shadows, he stepped out, Josh Barnett, the War Master himself. The crowd lost it. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing, shouted the commentators. Josh Barnett, MMA legend, former UFC champion, and professional wrestling purist, standing inside an AEW ring beside Arissa LeBrock. Barnett took the mic, his voice deep and commanding. "This woman right here isn't a movie star. She isn't a celebrity. She's a fighter, trained by warriors, forged in silence." He looked at her like a proud mentor, while Arissa stood motionless, eyes forward. "AEW," he continued, "you've built your empire on showmanship. But the time for showmanship is over. The age of real combat has arrived." The crowd erupted into chaos. Half were thrilled, half terrified. Then Britt Baker's music hit again, furious, defiant. She stormed down the ramp, mic in hand. "You think this is a dojo?" she shouted. "This is AEW. You don't just walk in here with a bodyguard and rewrite history," Barnett smirked. "Not a bodyguard, a coach." Before anyone could react, another figure appeared from the crowd, Thunder Rosa, AEW's warrior queen, known for her intensity and no-nonsense attitude. She slid into the ring, stood shoulder to shoulder with Britt Baker, and pointed straight at Arissa. The crowd went ballistic. Two of AEW's top women standing against the Seagal legacy. A declaration of war. Tony Khan quickly turned it official. Arissa LeBrock and Josh Barnett vs. Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. A mixed combat exhibition at AEW Revolution. The announcement shattered the internet. Wrestling fans debated non-stop. Was this a work? Was it real? Was AEW blending MMA and wrestling for the first time on this scale? Even UFC veterans began chiming in online, calling it the crossover nobody saw coming. Backstage sources reported that Arissa trained 10 hours a day for the match, mixing striking drills with pro wrestling rehearsals. She wasn't smiling anymore. She was laser-focused. AEW had just created the most unpredictable storyline in years. But no one, not even Josh Barnett, knew that what would happen at Revolution would change. The night of AEW Revolution arrived, and the energy inside the arena felt like a live wire. The crowd was louder than ever. Signs everywhere screamed, "LeBrock Era," "Team Thunder," and "Real fighters don't fake." Commentators set the stage. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is no ordinary match. This is wrestling meets martial arts, a collision of two worlds." As the lights dimmed, Arissa LeBrock appeared first. Calm, focused, wearing a long black trench coat similar to her father's iconic movie look. Behind her walked Josh Barnett, eyes sharp, jaw tight. Together they looked like warriors stepping into battle. Then came Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, fiery, fierce, and ready to defend AEW's pride. The audience roared as the four competitors faced off in the center of the ring. Ding, ding, ding! Immediately, Barnett and Thunder Rosa began the exhibition with controlled grapples, blending wrestling technique with MMA precision. Every takedown drew gasps from the crowd. The commentators couldn't keep up. This is unlike anything we've ever seen in AEW. Then came the tag. Arisa versus Britt Baker, the moment everyone had paid to see. They circled each other slowly, eyes locked, tension thick. Britt lunged first, but Arisa countered with a parry and spinning back elbow, sending her opponent reeling. The arena exploded. Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. Arisa's movements were crisp. Years of martial arts control channeled into professional wrestling power. Every strike told a story. But Britt wasn't backing down. She caught Arisa in a DDT that shook the ring. "Welcome to AEW," Britt yelled, wiping the blood from her lip. The crowd divided, half chanting, "LeBrock," half screaming, "DMD." Thunder Rosa tagged in, and the pace quickened. She and Arisa exchanged brutal kicks, neither giving an inch. You could feel the mutual respect forming between them. Warriors recognizing warriors. Then chaos hit. As Barnett and Rosa brawled outside, Britt Baker pulled something from her wrist tape. Brass knuckles. The crowd gasped. Commentators screamed, "No way! Not like this!" Britt swung, but Arisa ducked. The punch hit the turnbuckle, stunning Britt's hand. In an instant, Arisa locked her in a triangle choke, a real one, deep and tight. The audience stood up, roaring. Britt tried to reach the ropes but couldn't. Her hand hovered, then tapped. Ding, ding, ding! The bell echoed as the referee raised Arisa's arm. The crowd erupted. Fireworks, camera flashes, pure chaos. But before the celebration could start, something strange happened. Barnett grabbed the mic, looked straight into the camera, and said one line that froze everyone. This was never about wrestling. The arena fell silent. Arisa turned to him, confused. He leaned closer and whispered, "It's about your father." Gasps filled the air. The screen cut to black. The revolution wasn't over. It was just beginning. The following week, AEW Dynamite opened with complete silence. No pyro, no music, no commentary. Just the camera slowly zooming in on Arisa LeBrock standing alone in the ring, microphone in hand, her expression unreadable. Fans were buzzing online all week after Josh Barnett's cryptic statement. "It's about your father." Theories exploded everywhere. Was Steven Seagal secretly behind her AEW training? Did he invest in AEW? Is this leading to a movie crossover? But the truth was far more personal. Arisa lifted the mic. "For years," she said softly, "people only saw me as Steven Seagal's daughter. The name, the fame, the shadow." She paused, eyes glistening under the spotlight. "But what you didn't know is that AEW isn't just a debut for me. It's redemption." The crowd hushed. "My father once told me that every warrior fights two battles, the one in front of them and the one inside them. He spent his life in movies fighting enemies that weren't real. I wanted to fight something that is." Fans leaned forward, hanging on every word. She turned toward the ramp. "When I joined AEW, I didn't come here to be a star. I came here to break free from the legend, to prove that the Seagal legacy is more than just action scenes and Hollywood smoke." Suddenly, the big screen flickered to life. Grainy footage appeared. A training room. A younger Arisa sparring with a tall figure, Steven Seagal himself. The crowd gasped. Then the footage showed him saying, "When you're ready, don't fight for me. Fight for yourself." Fans couldn't believe what they were seeing. Commentators spoke softly, almost reverently. This is real footage. This is her truth." The screen faded out, and Arisa lowered her head. "He told me to find my own strength, and that's why I'm here." Just then, Britt Baker's music hit again. She walked out slowly, no mic, no arrogance, just respect. She entered the ring, stared at Arisa for a long moment, then extended her hand. The crowd went wild. This is respect. This is history. Arisa accepted the handshake, but before they could celebrate, the lights flickered again, that eerie blue glow from her debut. The Titantron showed 3 words: "The Master returns." The arena gasped. Commentators shouted over each other. What does that mean? Is Steven Seagal coming to AEW? Arisa's expression froze. Shock, confusion, and maybe even fear. Josh Barnett appeared on stage, microphone in hand. "He's coming," he said calmly. "And he's not here to watch. He's here to finish what he started." The crowd erupted into chaos. The camera zoomed in on Arisa's face as she mouthed, "No way!" The screen cut to black with a single sound, the faint echo of a wooden training sword hitting the mat. Then the words appeared, "To be continued, AEW Collision, the Seagal Code." The audience lost their minds. Social media exploded. The LeBrock saga had just become the most talked-about storyline in AEW history. And for the first time, Steven Seagal's shadow wasn't haunting Arisa. It was calling her home.